All right, Jay Short with another super chat with a $20 super chat. Y'all good looking out. He says, funny how everyone heard Quentin Miller say that he worked with Nas, but it's pretending that they didn't hear him clarify and he wasn't a ghostwriter. Quentin made no allegations. If he did, it wouldn't matter. It'd be a Barry Bonds situation. Let's talk about Quentin Miller. Because I know we still got some more super chats. We'll get to them. And I appreciate y'all super chat and keep going, but we got to get to this subject. Quentin Miller made a statement basically saying that he is tired of all this nonsense. You know who I blame for all of this? Meek Mill.
Oh, I was going to say Kanye because everybody's blaming Kanye for everything. I just figured it was the thing to do.
I feel bad for Quentin Miller, man, because whatever he adds to... I mean, he lost his leg too, man. Whatever he adds to these situations.
You mean that part? I mean,
just period. He's just an artist who, for whatever reason, gets called into the studio to work and to do whatever he does. And I think that on some levels, because I heard him on Flex, and I'm not trying to be funny, but when I heard him rhyming on Flex, I'm like, he doesn't really, have that MC aura or delivery and all of that, but whatever he adds, people call on him to be a creator in the studio. And I don't know if it's ideas. I don't know if somehow he might be some level of a producer when it comes to the words and hook and placement, but he's not writing people's rhymes. I mean, there was a reference track that we did here with the Drake thing, which, was official or whatever, but you and I say, it's my favorite Drake, project, the one that he worked on, right? For whatever reason, he keeps getting called into the studio. Now, clearly, we all know he's not writing Nas's rhymes. Like, we've heard Nas rhyme, we've heard Quentin Miller rhyme, we've heard Nas before Quentin Miller. So he really didn't even have to clarify that. I think that was a story that was just put out there, from a Vlad interview or something. But I just feel bad for him in the sense where people are tainting his work. You know what I'm saying? It's like whatever he gets called to do and get paid for in the studio, now other people aren't going to call him to do those things in fear of seeing him around and being accused of having a ghostwriter. You know what I mean? He's a studio guy, and he, like I said, he lost his leg, so he can't really, he probably doesn't do all the things that artists do and travel and perform and all those things. So studio work is his occupation. And people are tainting his ability to get work because of these, notions that people put out there that started with Meek Mill.
No, so let's talk on a musical level about how this works. And I know this because I'm fortunate enough that, and R&B and rap is such a funny thing how close they're merged together, but how the differences and nuances of things are different. And so when you're hearing Quentin Miller do reference tracks for Drake, when you're hearing those reference tracks, Mike, I know so many countless R&B singers in this city who are songwriters, and their way of breaking through and getting into the industry is, the songs that they write, well, they have to sing them first in order to get into the door and get people to hear that they're making quality stuff.
Right.
And so for a songwriter in this business, you get in by you singing the song and an artist who is more vocally talented than you hearing it and taking it on. That is what essentially happened with Missy Elliott and The Dream. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
They're songwriters. They're creators, okay? Quentin Miller is a songwriter and a creator. He happens to be an artist. Most songwriters and creators are artists because they have to sing and perform the reference tracks to get into the door as songwriters, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Once you have proven yourself to be one of these people, as in when the biggest star of this generation in most people's minds, when reference tracks reference back to you from that album that is his considered to be his greatest and biggest piece of work in a lot of people's minds, okay? That has a songwriter provides you a level of credibility within the industry that goes unsaid. That is how you get to walk in these doors and start creating from different aspects, not just providing reference tracks, okay? So what the problem is going on here is that when people are thinking of Quentin Miller, they are thinking of these reference tracks. Yeah. And there's so much more that goes on with being a songwriter, a creator, and a collaborator than doing that. It's what most people do to get their foot in the door. I'll give you another example of a reference track. Flowetry with Butterflies. Marsha Ambrosius singing Butterflies. They wrote Butterflies, Mike.
Right.
Who Butterflies end up in the hands of?
Yeah, Michael Jackson.
Have we ever said a goddamn thing? You feel what I'm saying?
Well, this is what I will say. What's different between rap and R&B in that sense is the fact that in R&B you're dealing with melodies, right? And
you are with rap now too. In modern day rap,
you're right. In modern day rap, you are now. But it's a little different because vocally, you have people like Rod Temperton writing for Michael Jackson. He can't sing like Michael Jackson. So if I'm going to write a great song,
Marsha can't sing like Mike either, though.
No. But I'm just using this example, though. I'm just saying, like most songwriters, especially in that era, they were great songwriters, but they needed to hand it over to a great vocalist, i.e. a Whitney Houston or a Michael Jackson or a Mariah Carey. They could do things with the song that, a person who might be a decent vocalist or someone who's not a vocalist at all could do. Now, as far as rap goes, it's one of those things where, like, hypothetically, let's just say there's a writer for Tupac on Dear Mama, and he wrote all those lyrics, right? Well, if that's the case, I want to hear the nigga who wrote the shit rap the shit. So it's a little different because you're dealing with notes when it comes to R&B, but you do have a point when you're saying that rap and R&B are kind of intermingling now anyway. And I think the reference tracks that we got from Quentin Miller and Drake, and please let us know if we're wrong in the chat, they were on some melodic stuff and kind of on some singy, rappy stuff.
Well, listen to what I'm saying is that for burgeoning songwriters, most people who are songwriters, Mike, were artists first, but their talent leveled out at a certain place. Like Missy had a whole R&B group, Mike. They had a whole deal. But she realized, like, that as a songwriter, her ceiling was like, well, I'm a 10 as a songwriter. We're a 5 as a group. I'm a 7 as a solo act. I'm a 9 or a 10 with Timberland. You feel what I'm saying about how she started parsing it out and putting it together? So what happens with most of these songwriters is that they were artists first. And so let me finish, because you provide reference tracks to get into the room, Mike.
Yeah.
But once you've been certified, well, you get called into the room just to contribute to the collaborative process. You could come up with one fucking note and get a songwriter's credit. Like literally a note. You could play a key, be like, we keeping that? Be like, hey, no, I got you. You're good. And as far as it was explained to me, it's like, well, his credit on here was from a sample.
Yeah. That's what I figured, But again, that's the thing.
It's a credit from a sample. No, but and you're right. It's not fair to him because he deserves the right, like, to be acknowledged as somebody that's like, well, don't assume because I'm walking into somebody's studio that I'm doing reference tracks.
Exactly.
Like, I'm a creator and a collaborator.
Exactly.
I can do a multitude
or if
of
you
things
see my name,
yes.
So if you see my name here on some sample shit, don't think that I wrote something for this artist. So let's just say that, whatever producer the Fab is working with or whoever somebody's working with, they want to pull Quentin Miller in to help them on the production end of things. The artist might be like, nah, man, I don't need him in the studio with me because people going to think whatever. That affects his bottom line, and I think that's fucked up. And I wish Meek Mill would go out there and apologize to this man for putting him in this situation. There's probably a lot of Quentin Millers in the industry, period. And we only know this Quentin Miller because Meek Mill exposed it in some sort of way, trying to drag Drake because Drake didn't tweet out his album. Now this man's whole career has to suffer because you got in your feelings because a nigga didn't tweet about your album. Come on, man.
It's deeper than that. I hear what you're saying. It is. It is, but I hear what you're saying. It is deeper than that. But I do hear what you're saying.
It's not. I'll say this:
Rap
if
don't
it's
have no
deeper than
rules.
that, though, Coop. If it's deeper than that, is it Quentin Miller's fault? Is
No,
any of this Quentin Miller's
no,
fault? He
no.
shouldn't get hit with a stray bullet because you got a problem with another nigga. You know what I mean?
When niggas is out here in the streets, there ain't no rules. They throwing up gang signs, and you might catch a stray. That's the rule. The
Well,
rule
that
is
ain't
protect
cool.
your neck.
It still ain't cool.
Watch your step, kid. You best protect your neck. And I get what you're saying, and we can just kind of wrap it up like this. It is unfair to him, and I'm sorry for him. But here's how you should look at it on the other end. Part of the reason why Nas should feel comfortable with Quentin Miller coming to the studio, there better not be nobody in their right goddamn mind thinking that Quentin Miller's stepping into a studio with Nas and about to help Nas write some shit.
Yeah, come on.
Who in the hell? So just the fact that this is even a conversation makes me feel like there's some media slander involved, but nothing that I'm going to like lean too heavy on, because it's like, you would question that, but you're going to question that, but at the same time, we got to deal with cats. It's like, he's not rapping like the guy on Verbal Intercourse. Which one is it? Which one is it? Which side of the slander do you agents want to side on? And next topic, Mike, I think it's time for you to go down your deep, dark thriller rabbit
You think
hole.
it's the thriller time? Let me get to
It
these
is
super
thriller
chats
time,
first.
Mike.
36 Chambers.
Have we covered all? Do we have any other rap news to cover? Is
Off the top of my head.
I want somebody to tell me if King's Disease three's numbers are up, because that's what I would really like to hear. I'd like to hear this classic top 50 rap album actually get pushed back up on the charts where it belongs.
Yeah,
that would be good.
Put a deluxe out there.
But let's talk about the greatest selling album of all time that saved MTV and the music industry and how these motherfuckers. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I want to get to the super chats first
Word from our sponsors.
Before I get into it. 36 Chambers says, I did feel like not having Pac's album in the top 10 of the 90s was a bit blasphemous. Besides the 2-disc misstep. Leaving Pac out and his impact was wrong. Okay. I think that we might just need to put All Eyes on Me in there. And you know what? And I think
we need to go top 5 by year. So many people are going to get left out. Just think about it. 93 is Enter the Wu-Tang, Doggy Style, and Midnight Marauders. That's 93. That's not even a high-level year.
This is what I'll say about the missteps. It was the first double disc. So I guess, the missteps, you kind of get excused for it because nobody else did a double disc before to learn from. So
they didn't learn. They're still
no, and no one's perfected it.
On any double disc, you won't find All Eyes on Me disc 1 on any of those other double discs that came after, and that includes Life After Death.
No, it's real. Man Max with the super chat says, I did the Apple Music thing. My top 5 streaming artists was Benny number 1, Nas number 2, Chef G number 3, Dave East number 4, and Cole number 5. And I have yet to see someone on an IG post have K-Dot on their top listened artists. Interesting. That wasn't us. That was Mad Max for the K-Dot.
Nobody listening to that mid.
Jay Short with the super chat says, this too is better than Machiavelli. Y'all underrating it. I'm going to go listen to this too tomorrow.
I'm going to listen to this too again.
Yeah, CJ Kid with the super chat says, Coop, is All Eyes on Me this one better than 36 Chambers?
I think they're right next to each other. I would probably have them ranked like 8 or 9 or 9 or 10. And just off the top of my head, there's no
game.
There's no cream on All Eyes on Me. So I would probably tell you, I would put Enter the Wu-Tang probably 1 slot ahead against All Eyes on Me, Volume 1. Yeah, like literally 1 slot ahead, like 8 and 9.
The game says Nas is against society. Of course, they're going after the numbers.
Just very like black empowering too. It's all that black empowerment that he's talking about too. They hear this stuff like if the feds can hand out RICO on rap lyrics, you think they're not hearing the black empowerment messages as well? Like if they're hearing the stuff that's making niggas catch cases, well, they're hearing the stuff that's empowering and uplifting to the community too, which is why you see it being suppressed, which is part of the institutional and systemic racism that I've pointed to on countless times when I pulled up to this show. I hope somebody's hearing what I'm saying about the systemic and the institutional racism and how it fundamentally has been designed to keep progressive thoughts and notions of black folks down. Literally, this is a Reconstruction era post-slavery style theme that they have instituted into this society that's been working for 100, 120 years because we refuse to pay attention and break the chains. I'm going to say less, Mike. Let's talk about Thriller.
I'm way behind on the super chats. Let me get up to this real quick. 36 says California Love is way better, Mike. You bugging. I see a lot of people saying still DRE, but they didn't super chat. But I see it. I see it. We should put a poll up on that one. I think still DRE is the better song.
I'm not with you on that. I'm just with you on the poll.
I never liked California Love like that.
I think you're bugging, Mike.
Jay
Out
Short,
on bail, fresh out of jail, California dreaming. As soon as I step on the scene, I'm hearing Hoochie screaming, freeing for money and alcohol, the like. Yeah, everybody knows those words. Stop that. See, you know the words.
I know the whole thing.
Only in Cali will we riot, not rally.
To live and die.
In LA, we wearing Chucks, not Bally's. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
they lopes and khaki suits and ride is what we do. Yeah.
Jay Short with Super Chat says they play Disc 2 album tracks on the radio out here. Shout out to Jay Short on the West Coast, letting us know what's going on. I'm about to go listen to Disc 2 heavy this week, at the end of the week.
I am. We might need to give All Eyes on Me another burn. I can't front. I haven't listened to All Eyes on Me book 2 I ain't listened to it in the last couple of years. Shit.
Bell Superb says go through Disc 2 list and tell us the week songs.
Okay. You know
we might need to have a Disc 2 review on Friday, re-review on Friday when we talk about Metro and all that. Can we do that? Can we do like a throwback review or something?
Well, you're taking some of my ideas for my new page, but
yes. Oh, no. Oh, my bad.
No, I mean, you're cool, because my hope would be that you would take the stuff from my page and put it on according to hip hop anyway. But I was thinking I wanted to do a re-review segment where we actually go back and actually properly rate albums that some publications, fucked up.
Well, maybe we can do a preview with it with Disc 2. And then,
No. I like that idea.
Yeah.
I was actually going to start off with Liquid Swords or Doggy Style, 5 mic albums that got 4s.
Yeah.
But never Cuban Links, anybody. The infamous. Can I interest you in Reasonable Doubt or Ready to Die? They got it all wrong.
KC1 with the super chat says, y'all rating by better music or hits? Because in 96, number 1 was It Was Written. Number 2, Hell on Earth. 3, Reasonable Doubt. 4, ATLiens. 5, All Eyes on Me. Why doesn't anyone bring up D-Dot for his help on Life After Death?
By hits? Did he say by hits? And he had All Eyes on Me at 5?
He was asking, were we doing quality or hits?
Oh, I was about to say, because if we're going by hits, it's like...
Well... As far as the D-Dot comment, though, I think that a lot of people who produced under Hitman really didn't get their proper... props, because it was a collective. And, I mean, Stevie J is one of those guys. I think that the fact that Stevie J did Notorious Thugs and did Breakdown for Mariah, that's some of the best stuff of his era. And we never talk about Stevie J as a producer of that time because he was a part of that collective.
I think Nasheem Myrick better than all of them. He's part of that collective,
exactly. He doesn't get a lot of props.
Nasheem Myrick a better beat maker than all them niggas, in my opinion.
I like Nasheem Myrick better than D-Dot.
Me too.
Production-wise, yeah.
Nasheem did T.O.N.Y. and Who Shot You.
Yeah. Mad Max with the super chat says, Quentin basically did the club songs for Drake, like 10 bands. And I remember listening to it at the time and saying, he don't rap like that. Songs like, I'm sorry, 10 bands. I remember listening to it at the time and saying he don't rap like that. Songs like that, or Ride or D&D, and Drake's pen is so overblown. It didn't sound... Listen, I'm going to say this about if you're reading this, it's too late. I felt like when I heard it, I was like, yo, I'm digging where he's going. It didn't sound like what I heard before from him. Mad Max clarified with the super chat. He says, and 10 Bands was never some lyrical masterpiece. So I think that
10 Bands does go hard, though.
It goes hard, and I think it's just how he's riding the track. I think it might be the rhythms, which go along with melodies.
You niggas know you like 10 Bands.
10 Bands is hard.
Stop playing with me.
What is
right? You like that shit.
I'll be gone till November. Then November came. Then I came right back on my worst behave. 6 God. Put both hands together. That's amazing grace. 6 God. The suffers with the love. I need all the praise. I was like, yo, I ain't heard him rap like that. Period. But it makes sense.